What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the D-constructing Topic podcast. My name is David, and I'm your legendary host of this legendary podcast. So we got to go on. We are talking baseball. Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. I think that's how the song goes. For those people that are listening that follow my channel, if you're new to my channel, hit that like, hit that subscribe, share, comment if I am singing the right tune, right? Talking baseball. Willie, Mickey, and the Duke, yeah. Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, and Duke Schneider, who played for the San Francisco Giants or New York Giants as well. Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, New York Yankees, and Duke Schneider played for the Dodgers, Brooklyn Dodgers. Can't believe that was a thing. Yes. But welcome to my podcast. Let's make it happen. We are talking a little bit of baseball, a little bit of how I became a big baseball fan, or I am still a big baseball fan. You already know. We got the Yankee thing because I'm a big Yankee fan. We got Roberto Clemente in honor of the great, legendary Roberto Clemente. Oh, we got a good one. We got a good episode. We making it happen for sure. Last week I was in the shout out to Angel Rivera, Angel in the afternoon. I'll be putting the links. And then Alex Knight, we were talking baseball. I think me and how can I say Angel? I think we was kind of like boosting it up a little bit, just but we were talking baseball though, that's for sure. Cause hey, opening day was yesterday. Let's go Yanks. We gotta win. Let's make it happen. This is the year that we gotta make it happen for sure. And just to give you a little brief history of how I became a baseball fan, I was born in Puerto Rico. Let's go. And you already know baseball is a big thing in Puerto Rico. Basketball, wrestling, yes, wrestling. Ooh, let's go. And we also got you can say boxing as always. We got some legendary. That's a different podcast that we got to talk about. Some of the best fighters of all time came from the little country. Country. I'm gonna say country. Little island country of Puerto Rico. Hey, don't fight me. I'm just saying. But we talking baseball. We talking how I became a Yankee fan. And believe it or not, and I'm just gonna say this secret. Shh, don't tell to nobody. But actually, was a Met fan. Whoa, whoa, whoa! How did I become a Met fan to Yankee fan? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the adventures that I had with baseball. Um, and it's an honor for me as a Yankee fan. Shout out to my sister in arms. For some reason, we got a little bit of little group out there, and we actually went to was Game 6 of the 2009 World Series where we won against the Phillies. Hideki Matsui doing his thing. Pedro Martinez pitching for the Phillies. Pedro Martinez, who's your daddy? You know what I mean? But anyways, I just want to do a thing there. Shout out to the legendary Roberto Clemente. And Roberto Clemente has a lot to do in Puerto Rico. I mean, we adore Roberto Clemente. And he was a former baseball player who passed away in the early 70s due to a plane crash. And Roberto Clemente, he's not just a great baseball player, humanitarian in baseball. They do this award every year that is called the Roberto Clemente Award. And I'm going to show you in a little video clip here on what it means and what that award means. And a lot of people, when it comes to sports and, we live in a time that, yeah, we got these athletes that are just multimillionaires and making a lot of money. But there's a lot of people that do great things with that money. Roberto Clemente is interesting. Sadly, it gives me some goosebumps to know that Roberto Clemente he passed away in a plane crash in I believe it was 1972, December 31st, 1972. He was a 3,000 hitter, hit 3,000 hits with the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's what I'm rocking here. Look, it's Pittsburgh, but I'm a New York Yankee. But just shout out to Roberto. You already know, wonderful man, and the fact that there was an earthquake, if I'm mistaken, in Nicaragua, and this guy was a great humanitarian. I might be butchering that word, but the fact that on this day he decided upon himself and then a couple of people to bring close to the island, and sadly, my understanding, as the plane took off, it landed not too far San Juan, and it was a rainy day. I think this was in the night, and it landed on the water, never to be found. Um, Again, goosebumps. It's just a sad story, but just to tell you how this person in a day where everybody's celebrating New Year, doing all this. Roberto did something so incredible to give his life to help others. That was Roberto Clemente in a nutshell. Now let's get on with the show because after this clip, then I'm gonna talk about a little bit of my experience with baseball and how I became a baseball fan, Yankee fan, whatever fan. Oh, we make it happen. Enjoy the show.
Take glove.
Now I just want to point this out, right? It's something interesting. Um, Roberto Clemente is from Puerto Rico. We're talking about in the 60s, 70s. Harold Reynolds, it's a African American gentleman. And Roberto Clemente is one of the few players that resonated with every person that, whatever background, whether it's, you're black, you're Dominican, as you're going to see in a few, um, Puerto Rican, obviously, if you're, white American, if you, whatever it is from the background, Roberto Clemente resonated with people because of what he did. Great baseball player, but what he did outside of baseball, you just can't make this up. You know what?
Always be. So as a Latin
Goosebumps.
player that I am, I'm so damn proud to have known about the history of Roberto Clemente and the legacy he left.
Oh, all right. That was goosebumps there. Absolutely. Yeah. It's one of those situations where Roberto Clemente, as we're gonna see him. Let me see if I can find him here. Boom. And don't mind the little lady. I'm working on it. I'm once again, it's one of those things where, hey, listen, that's why there's a little donation button. I'm just saying, I'm working on this, getting webcam, making adjustment. Don't mind the lighting. Here's Roberto Clemente. What a great, wonderful player. When I was born in Puerto Rico, um, one of those things that even, how can I say, in a time where, I'm gonna go and let me growing up, kind of having knowledge. A decade has passed, and something to that effect. But the fact that even at that time, there was still, from what I could hear, growing up in Bayamon, Puerto Rico, there were people that were still grieving. And then when they spoke about Roberto, it's like people were still in shock. Despite the fact that it happened 10 years later, from the time that I'm started, like the early '80s, when I'm just kind of like growing up, being a little kid and understanding and being able to kind of, you know, get that sense. And if my memory served me well, a lot of Puerto Ricans. I mean, it's one of those things that hearing from the elders when Roberto Clemente passed away, people were just in shock. I mean, people was like, no, there were people that might say, hey, listen, find the body. Unless we find the body, you can't say he's dead, and so on and so forth. But it's one of those things that you got to let it go as humans. Sometimes as humans, it's hard for us to let go of, especially of a loved one. And Roberto Clemente, and Jason Stark said it best. He was adored in Latin America, and I know that in Dominican Republic, which is a hotbed for baseball. Some of the best baseball players of all time came from La República Dominicana. Let's go, shout out. That's where Pedro Martinez is from. But just the fact that there was a couple of baseball players, Roberto just made a big impact, and he was that person. And yes, because he is from the Puerto Rico, and we have a strong Puerto Rican community here in New York City, obviously, Chicago, and other parts. To end up, kind of like in Pittsburgh. And one of my interesting stories, Roberto Clemente, and what I've heard is that for those who are familiar with the Negro Leagues, there was a time where Negroes, and those are black players that did not play in major leagues. There was a time, and even after they were allowed, after Jackie Robinson in 1947, if I'm not mistaken, the fact that there was still uh, MLB, how can I say, Major League Baseball teams that were still kind of hesitant to bring black players into the league. Um, and then I know that they took the Yankees a while as well. Um, and it's one of those situations that Roberto Clemente, there was a lot of Negro leagues that will play in the Caribbean and Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, in what we call winter ball. And winter ball was like during what is it, December, January, something to that effect, away from the baseball schedule. And there were a lot of black players because even at that time, we're talking about the 50s and 60s, early 60s. There was still segregation going on in the United States and in the South, where you got the fountain with whites only and blacks only, and the buzz obviously back in the buzz would have been the black people, and so on. And Roberto Clemente, even though his skin was dark skin, being in Puerto Rico, he didn't have to kind of endure that and to see. And my understanding is that when he was in what they would call AAA or the farm system of Pittsburgh, he was in shock. Like, how is it that these people, humans, who just happen to have a different color, separated? And that's one of those things that started kind of opening Roberto Clemente to kind of be the human that he is. And God, he's a beautiful human because he brings different aspects. So just for me growing up, hearing these stories, and even to this day, even a couple of years ago, I was watching listen to a little documentary or a little audio thing. The fact that he served in the Marines and he did this, it brings me, like Pedro Martinez said, it brings me that joy. It brings me that, like, wow, man, this individual was just unique, and he's one of the few again where me growing up, listening to some of the elders, even 30 years ago, once I got to United States, hearing, white Italians, like I said, the blacks, the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, Cubans, Venezuela, all these people talking about in unison how great Roberto Clemente is and what a wonderful man he is. That brings me a lot of joy. And once again, he's one of the reasons why baseball was just kind of part of my life in a sense. So once I came to the United States, it was a little bit different. Once I got to New York City, you already know when I got to New York City, we had the New York Mets, in a sense, a good team. And that's, I'm going to answer how I became a New York Mets fan. And it's one of those things that growing up, no cable, and you just watch the TV antennas. One of the channels that you actually got a little bit clear picture, if those that remember, was I believe it was UPN, which was Channel 9 here in New York City. And then the Yankees play at Channel 11, which is WPIX, if I'm not mistaken. So it's one of those things where I watch more Mets game, so that's how I became a Mets fan. Darryl Strawberry was one of my favorite player. Let me see, Darryl Strawberry, Darryl Strawberry, one of my favorite players growing up. And you know what? I'm gonna go on the limb and I'm gonna say this right. That Darryl Strawberry, when in 1992 signed with the Dodgers. Let me just check it out here. Strawberry, the Straw Man. All right, here's Darryl Strawberry, legendary, great swing, left-handed, very smooth in the back, one of the great players. And for me, I think, and I'm gonna go on the limb, that for me, um, when he went to the LA Dodgers in '92, the Mets for some reason they didn't re-sign him. I forgot what was the story. It hit me a little bit hard, and that's when I was like, you know what, Mets, screw you, whatever the case. In 1993, then I started. I'm trying to remember how this happened. I went to a Yankee game or something to that effect, and there was players that were coming in early. Keep in mind that if you are playing a 1 p.m. game, now normally, let's say if the Yankees are playing like the Cleveland Indians or something to that effect, well, at that time, Cleveland Indians, now it's the Cleveland Guardians. Just keep in mind that if the game started at 1 p.m., there were players from the opposite team and even from the Yankees that will come early. They will go to how can I say, there's a parking lot for the players. And let me just show you that parking lot because this parking lot meant a lot to me. And this entrance right here meant a lot to me because in that entrance, as you can see there, was where the players would park, let's say, those in the opposite team. And I remember it was the New York Yankees versus Boston Red Sox. And at that time, they had Move On. And let me tell you something. Mo Vaughn was one of the coolest, nicest people that I ever met. I got his autograph. He came in a white Bentley, and he had some clothes. Whatever clothes he had, he was carrying. And there were so again, if the game was at 1 p.m., um, there were people, there were players that would come in at 7, at 8, at 10. By 11 o'clock, there was players already coming in, and they were coming either on their own card or hot ride or whatever, either walking, cab. I've seen a couple of players take a taxi, or they will come in the team bus. So Mo Vaughn comes in, goes into there's an entrance there. Uh, then you got the press, and then you got what it says gate 4, if I'm not mistaken. And you have the players come in, they open a thing. If that's closed, then there's another entrance where it's VIP entrance. And Mo Vaughn, there's like about 4 or 5 people, and he tells one of the fellas to hold the clothes for him. And you see the guy making sure, because Mo Vaughn was kind of a little stocky, not that tall, but still, he was holding the clothes, making sure that nothing's hidden in the bottom, and he got to sign the baseball card. You put MV or whatever the case might be. So those are the story. And in '93, that's when I started. There was Daryl Boston, Randy Bellotti, Pat Kelly. There was a lot of players. Terry Mohale. As I started collecting autograph, and I'm trying to remember how this happened. But as I started to collect autograph, because I think that somebody have mentioned, oh, if you go to a game early, let's say the 1 p.m. game, you come in early, you could get an autograph. There's people in the entrance. Now, there's a certain time that they start putting the barricades so that the people, can't come in and, just grab a baseball play. Sometimes those barricades will be there early, though. Sometimes those barricades will be there overnight. So in the, let's say, 7 o'clock p.m. games, then you want to be there like at 1 p.m., 12 p.m. So I used to be there. I mean, I collected autograph card, Ripken. Matter of fact, Derek Jeter, I gave Derek Jeter a hug. That was his first year before he went the next year. That first year that he started playing, he was not a rookie, or let's say did not qualify to be the rookie of the year. That was in 95, 96, but 95, I remember long trench coat, good looking kid. I was sure Derek Jeter, who is my favorite Yankee player of all time. Let's go, Derek Jeter, El Capitan. Let's go. So he became my favorite Yankee. I got his autograph. I gave him a little hug, and I think I didn't pay for a while. And it's funny because Derek Jeter was just a known prospect at that time. People were just talking, hey, Derek Jeter, the future, whatever, Yankee, whatever the case might be. We already know what happened in '96. The rest is history. Rookie of the year, if I'm not mistaken, and we won the World Series. And we won, what is it, 4 World Series with Derek Jeter, Jorge, the core, Mariano, Andy Pettit. You had Bernie. You had other players that were part of this Yankee dynasty that I grew up. And those are the Yankees that I grew up, where you could be down 10 runs in the third inning, and you better be sure either we coming back or winning, or we put in a fight. Let's go Yankees. So that's how I started becoming a Yankee fan, because I started resonating with baseball players. There was one of the pitchers, Don Paul. I remember Don Paul. I remember there's this baseball player from the Yankees. His name is Steve Howe. And Steve Howe, how can I say, he had a little, problems with certain, you know, drugs. In my understanding, that cocaine was his thing. And one day, hey, clean, looking sharp, looking better. He had a bottle of Coca Cola, and some fan, I don't know if I want to call it a fan, or I can't, I don't want to call him an idiot, because he would just say, "Look, Steve Howe, he got a bottle of Coke." I'm like, really? A bottle of Coke? Really? Come on, man. You come on, Yankee fans. You could do better than that, man. Let's go. But that's how I started becoming a Yankee fan. Once I started resonating, my first baseball game, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was 93 or 94. But it was Old Timers Day. And Old Timers Day in Yankees, you got some of the old timer, baseball, Mickey Rivers, sometimes you might have back then Mickey Mantle. You got some of the old cats, old Yankee players come in and do like a little exhibition for a couple of innings. And there was rumors, because there were people that were collecting autographs that were just sharks. and there was rumors of certain baseball player. I think it was Joe DiMaggio, towards before he passed away, that he might be in the stadium and leave it in seventh inning. My understanding that that's what exactly happened. I was too late. He did sign somebody's bat, which Joe DiMaggio do not sign. Um, it's very rare that Joe DiMaggio signed, but just to see, like, wow, I seen these plays. I seen some of them. Carl Ripken, oh my goodness, Rod Carew, so many baseball players. And that's how I started becoming a Yankee fan. And obviously, in 2009, and I go back in 2009 because I always remember with a couple of buddies of mine, sisters in arm, couple of a little crew there. We went. So it was game two of the Minnesota game where A Rod tied up the game. Alex Rodriguez 3-3. That was amazing. We was like, and then Mark Teixeira hit the home run. I think it was like 2 innings later. We won. Then it was game one of the Angels where CC Sabathia was pitching. CC, one of my favorite Yankees as well. Andy Pettit, my favorite Yankee starting pitcher. Mariano, my favorite pitcher. Ooh, Enter the Sandman. Let's go. Then we have that. And then obviously it was game six, World Series. Somebody say, hey, David, I got you. Don't worry about it. Against the Philadelphia Phillies. And I remember watching game five, and the Yankees was winning. We were up 3 games to 1. To win the World Series, got to win 4 games, right? So it's the best out of 7. And the Phillies won that game. And immediately somebody was ringing up my phone. I got you. Don't worry about it. I'm like, dang. And then the next thing, I'm getting sick. I got a great feeling about this game. I'm over there somewhere in the grandstand at the 400s. I think it was left field, if I'm not mistaken. And if you was to ask me, and I'm a Yankee fan, I love both stadium, but there's certain parts of the new stadium that I love the 300s. I love right field. I believe those are the 310s or something to that effect. The last seat. Sometimes I don't like to sit. I just like to be on the stand because the seat's a little bit. So I love this stadium. I love Yankee Stadium. I miss the old one as well. You already know the bleacher creatures. Wow. Wow scene when you out there in the bleacher creature. I always tell people if you ever try to travel to New York and New York City and watch the Yankees, give it a shot at the bleacher creature. It's gonna be crazy out there. It's gonna be like a little like what the hell is going on? But those are the most passionate fans out there. So going on to the Yankee Stadium, I love the Yankee Stadium. So we won game six. I was happy. I think Tino Martinez was the one I was throwing the first pitch. And you already know you were sensing something in the air. And Hideki Matsui, blam, Pedro Martinez, who I just showed up was pitching for the Phillies. And for those remember, Pedro Martinez and the Yankees, rivalry, whatever. And then we was just calling Pedro, who's your daddy? Based on the comments that he said in Boston. Like, come on, Pedro. We got you back, buddy. We got you back. Game six, we won. Sadly, that was the last time that the New York Yankees won the World Series. It was 2009. It feels like forever. Like, come on. We played a lot just last year, and we're hoping that this year will be that year. No question about it. I got faith. We got Judge. We got all this. The pitching, all right, yes, it was opening day. We had some great pitching. The bullpen kind of gave us the and growing up with the Yankees in the 1990s, when we were winning 2-1, and you had Pedro Martinez, that's all automatically. With the Enter the Sandman, kind of song. What's the name of the group? I forgot the name of the group. But it was always that atmosphere. And just during that time is how I became a Yankee fan. Now, I love football. Football is my favorite sport. For some reason, did a podcast on that. But football is different because baseball is the one sport that I kind of felt personal. I love baseball. I grew up watching baseball. Puerto Rico, you already know that's my thing. That's the thing over there. Baseball is still a thing. We had so many of the greats of the greats playing in Puerto Rico. So that's the situation. Obviously, let me show you My favorite Yankee player of all time, you already know El Capitan Derek Jeter. What can I say about this gentleman? Again, when he gave me a little bit of hug. Like I said, I don't think I showered for a couple of days. And the fact that even his presence, you knew that you was about to kind of enter into a legendary mode. That's why my podcast, Deconstructing, is legendary for the fact that people like Derek Jeter, all-time Yankee. You're gonna always argue who's the greatest Yankee of all time. I watched Derek Jeter from day one. That's my that's my guy. So that's one of those reasons where he had a tremendous Hall of Famer, 3,000 hits, whatever's going on with Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter was the main focus of the 1990s New York Yankees, and throughout this individual, he put in work. And then we got Paul O'Neill, the Warrior. He got his jersey. How can I say? Retire in the little thing that the Yankees got over there. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle, Thurman Munson, Donnie Baseball. The list, Mariano, the list goes on. Joe Torre, the list goes on. Yogi Berra. People know Yogi Berra, but Yogi Berra said, I like to take 2 1-hour naps between 2 and 4. That's Yogi Berra. That's the New York Yankees. That's my introduction here. I hope that you enjoyed this. Once again, hit that like, share, comment, subscribe. There's something different of becoming a Yankee fan. Because yes, we are in the Bronx, the boogie down, right? The Bronx is supposed to be the poorest borough in New York City, but you know what? What's rich out there? The people that live in the Bronx, we got a lot of great people, and that greatness of the Bronx in itself, it permeates over here in Yankee Stadium and vice versa. That's why the Yankees is the ultimate sports franchise. Forget about the Cowboys. Forget about the Lakers, the Celtics. Forget about whatever hockey franchise. Well, they got some team in Montreal that won a lot of Stanley Cup, but nobody. Who's the Canadian? Montreal Canadiens? Nobody heard of that team. People heard of the New York Yankees. Let's go, because you know what? If Derek Jeter's batting, now batting. Number 2, Derek Jeter. Number 2, the great Bob Shepard doing that little voice. Even when he passed away, Derek Jeter continued to use him as the introduction when he was batting up. Anyways, feel free to share. You already know. I'm not going to repeat myself. And I am going to repeat myself. Like, share, comment, subscribe. All that much love out there. And once again, it's the legendary Deconstructing Topic podcast talking about baseball. Talking baseball. Derek Jeter and the rest. Woo! Let's get it. I'm out of here. I'm out. Peace.